There's over 80,000 ways to show exactly the same data in a pivot table. That's how many layout options there are to contend with. How on earth are you going to get through all this? I'll show you in this video. I'm John, this is Up for Excel on pivot table layouts. Layouts can make a big difference to how your pivot table is viewed. You can see on screen I've got 3 different pivot table layouts of exactly the same data. All 3 of these show the exact same numbers, and yet they look radically different, and some of them are much more easy on the eye than others. There's a bewildering array of different options, so really what I'm going to do in this video is focus on what really matters and what can really make your pivot table look good. You can download the very spreadsheet I'm working on by clicking in the link below, and I'll send that straight to you, and then you can either work along or you can do that at the end of the video and use the data to practice on. So imagine you've been given this order table and it's got about 8,500 orders in it. Or you're even sat on this and you'd simply ask, well, what percentage of our sales are coming from the West region? Now, you might be tempted to go about calculating this using some kind of formulas or filters or potentially a sum if calculation, or all manner of formulas could actually get to that result. But I want to show you that using a pivot table layout, you can get this value very quickly indeed. So if I click on that, insert a pivot table, and I just drop the region as the row and the sales as the value, so we get that. But by right clicking on that sales value, you can put show value as percentage of grand total, and all of a sudden now you can see straight away we've got 24.12% of our sales are in the West. That is an incredibly fast way, and it shows the pivot table power really. Incredibly fast way of answering a question like that, and you don't even need to use any formulas. So I think that is a fantastic way, and that is a demonstration of value layout. Now there are all sorts of different options in here, and by right clicking on the numbers you can see straight away you've got a summarize values by, which you can have sum, count, average sales, for example, max sales, min sales, all very useful, or more options, which I'll come to in a second. And then for each one of those, you can show those values as these various different percentages or differences, or rank them, for example. Now, no calculation will just give you a sum normally. So you might want to, for example, show a count. So if we say, or average sales, for example. So we put on average sales, but we don't want that as a percentage of the grand total. So we'll get we've got average sales here. Now we might say then, okay, perhaps we want to show those values as rank from smallest to largest based on the region field. Yes, that would be good. And there you go. Now all of a sudden, and we can even sort this, to be honest, by if we just click on that and sort smallest to largest, we now have a ranked list of regions by average sales. Again, something that would take a very long time indeed to go about calculating on the order table itself using formulas. I mean, this is the kind of thing you can do whilst you're actually on the phone and somebody's asking you these questions. You can be doing this with a few clicks of the mouse. Phone in the other hand, you certainly couldn't be doing that, you know, if you were using formulas. Now I'm going to add a couple more fields on here. So I'm going to take this back now to a sum with no calculation on it. So we've got a standard thing here. And I'm going to put in a profit number as well. I think I will also add ship mode as a column. Now that's created a bit of a mess, to say the least. So let's just move that down to there and across. So firstly, this is not a very good looking pivot table, to say the least. And one of the things that would make it better straight away is changing the layout so that we can drag these around. I think if we put the ship mode like that, that's probably better straight away, certainly easier to follow. One thing I can do straight away is change the number format. So if I right click on that and click number format, and if we just put this as a number with no decimal places and a comma separator, and now you can see what that's done is it's changed the number format of the sales column, but what it's not done is change the other column in the pivot table. And if you've got a lot of value fields, we've only got 2, but if you've got a lot, this can be a bit of a pain, and it might mean that you want to think about restructuring your source data, but I will talk about that in another video. Again, we can do the same on this one. Number format, number, no decimal places. Now, what we can actually do as well is we can move those values down here, and we can show them in all manner of different ways within this as well. So values there or values like that. So if we have it like that, for example, we get our shipping mode, our region, then our sales and profit. We move that, we will get a sales, the type of value comes in before the region. So we get all of the regions listed with their sales, and then all of them with profit. Now we could sort of potentially maybe move that over there. Just do that. That's looking quite good, and that allows us to play around like that as well. I actually prefer to have less breaks in my pivot table like this, so I won't click on that. So I would probably go with something like that if I did need all of this information, just to get it looking sensibly square, because I think once you put something like that in, you're talking a very long, narrow pivot table. It doesn't look ideal. We went through how you can organize the values within a layout, show various percentages, differences, counts, averages, all of those sorts of features. Very easy to access, very, very fast for calculating numbers whilst perhaps you're on the phone being asked questions about your data. Remember that you can download this spreadsheet yourself and have a play around. I'm going to leave it with all the finished examples in it as well. So you've got great examples there of various different formats that you can use and layouts. You've been watching John on Up for Excel, where I'm going to help you get your Excel skills up so you can get these task times down.